Good evening and welcome to this edition of Jay's Retro Toys and Games. It's episode 45 on this Friday night, February 3rd, 2023. We're in season 2, as you know, and we hope you enjoyed the last episode on Monday, which we were talking about color forms. That's right. Now we're going to be looking at an interesting popular toy that spanned the test of time. Oh yes, this toy, modeling compound for the young children to make arts and crafts projects at home. And the product was first manufactured in Cincinnati, Ohio as a wallpaper cleaner in the 1930s, and then was reworked and marketed to Cincinnati schools in the mid-50s. It's also demonstrated at an educational convention in 56, and prominent department stores opened retail accounts. Advertisements promoting this great toy on influential children's television shows in 1957 furthered the product's sales. And since its launch on the toy market in the 1950s, this toy has generated a considerable amount of ancillary merchandise, such as the Fun Factory. What are we looking at tonight? Play-Doh. Yes! Stuff's been around since the 1930s, and still today's kids play with it. We'll look at it right here on Jay's Retro Toys and Games. Good evening to you on this Friday night. Hope you're having a good start to the weekend as we're going to look at an interesting toy. Like I said, spanning almost 94 years, 95 years in the making. It's Play-Doh right now. I'm looking at it from this angle. Oh boy. Play-Doh's been around for a long time. In fact, it's going on now. It started in 1955, so we're looking at almost close to over 80 years in the making here, and it's still going strong to this day. So let's look at the history of it. The non-toxic, non-staining, reusable modeling compound that came to be known as Play-Doh was a pliable, putty-like substance concocted by Noah McVicker of Cincinnati-based soap manufacturer Coutal Products. And it was devised at the request of Kroger Grocery, which wanted a product that could clean coal residue from wallpaper. So following World War II, with the transition from coal-based home heating to natural gas and the resulting decrease in internal soot, and the introduction of washable vinyl-based wallpaper, the market for wallpaper cleaning putty decreased substantially. McVicker's nephew, Joe McVicker, joined Coutal with the remit to save the company from bankruptcy. Joe McVicker was the brother-in-law of nursery school teacher Kay Zufall, who had seen a newspaper article about making art projects with the wallpaper cleaning putty. Her students enjoyed it, and she persuaded Noah McVicker, who also sold the putty, and Joe McVicker to manufacture it as a child's toy. Zufall and her husband came up with the name Play-Doh, and Joe McVicker and his uncle Noah had wanted to call it Rainbow Modeling Compound. Joe McVicker took Play-Doh to an educational convention for manufacturers of school supplies, and Woodward and Lothrop, a department store in Washington, D.C., began selling the compound. Then in 1956, the McVickers formed the Rainbow Crafts Company to make and sell Play-Doh. Now also in 56, a 3-pack of 7-ounce cans was added to the product line, and after in-store demonstrations, Macy's of New York and Marshall Fields of Chicago opened retail accounts. Then in 1957, chemist Dr. Tien Lu reduced Play-Doh's salt content, thus allowing models to dry without losing their color. And Play-Doh ads were telecast on Captain Kangaroo, Ding Dong School, and Romper Room. And then in '58, Play-Doh's sales reached nearly $3 million. Then in 1964, Play-Doh was exported to Britain, France, and Italy. And by 1965, Rainbow Crafts issued a patent for Play-Doh. Then in '65, General Mills bought Rainbow Crafts for $3 million. And in '71, Rainbow Crafts and Kenner Products merged. And then in 1987, the Tonka Corporation bought the two. In the '80s, its cardboard can with a rust-prone metal bottom was replaced with a more cost-effective plastic container. Then in 1991, Hasbro became the owner of Play-Doh and continues to manufacture the product today. In 1996, gold and silver were added to Play-Doh's palette to celebrate its 40th anniversary. Play-Doh packaging was briefly illustrated with children in the mid-1950s, but replaced by the Play-Doh Pixie, an elf mascot which in 1960 was superseded by Play-Doh Pete, a smock and beret-wearing cartoonish boy. By 1992, Play-Doh Pete's beret was recolored in blue, and his eyes were given a more human look. Later in 2000, Play-Doh Pete's beret was replaced with a baseball cap. Play-Doh Pete later retired and was removed in 2003, lasting for 42 years. Since 2012, the Dodos are the mascots. Play-Doh's current manufacturer, Hasbro, says the compound is primarily a mixture of water, salt, and flour, while its 2004 United States patent indicates it is composed of water, a starch-based binder, a retrogradation inhibitor, salt, lubricant, surfactant or surfactant, preservative, hardener, humectant, fragrance, and color. And a petroleum additive gives the compound a smooth feel, and borax prevents mold from developing. Play-Doh contains some wheat and may cause allergic reactions in people who are allergic to wheat gluten. It is not intended to be eaten. In 1960, the Play-Doh Fun Factory, which is a toy press that extrudes the compound in various shapes, was invented by Bob Bogalid and Bill Dale. The Play-Doh Fuzzy Pumper Barber and Beauty Shop of 1977 and Mop Top Hair Shop of 1986 featured a figurine whose extruded hair could be styled. In 1995, an educational software CD-ROM game, Play-Doh Creations, was released. In 2003, the Play-Doh Creativity Table was sold. Play-Doh related merchandise introduced during the 2007 anniversary year included the Play-Doh Birthday Bucket, the Play-Doh 50 Colors Pack, the Fuzzy Pumper Crazy Cuts, which is a reworking of the 1977 Fuzzy Pumper Barber and Beauty Shop, and the Play-Doh Creativity Center. Then in 2012, Play-Doh Plus was introduced. It is lighter, more pliable, and softer than regular Play-Doh. More than 2 billion cans of Play-Doh were sold between 1955 and 2005. And in 2005, Play-Doh was being sold in 75 countries at 95 million cans a year. In the United States, more than 6,000 stores carry Play-Doh. To mark Play-Doh's 50th anniversary, the Better Fragrance Library created a limited edition fragrance inspired by Play-Doh's distinctive odor for highly creative people who seek a whimsical scent reminiscent of their childhood. Play-Doh was inducted into the National Toy Hall of Fame at the Strong in Rochester, New York in 1998. In 2003, the Toy Industry Association placed Play-Doh into its Century of Toys list, a roll call of the 100 most memorable and most creative toys of the 20th century. In late 2014, the company offered to replace the Play-Doh Cake Mountain Playsets extruder tool for free after receiving complaints about the tool's phallic shape. April 2nd, 2015, 20th Century Fox announced work on a film adaptation with Hasbro Production Studios, along with its subsidiary company Allspark Pictures and Chernin Entertainment, producing, Jason Malkaff writing, and Paul Feig directing from his production company Figo. The film was eventually canceled and rejected after the acquisition of Fox's parent company, 21st Century Fox, by the Walt Disney Company. On March 17th, 2022, it was announced that a new animated film adaptation is in development at Entertainment One, and its parent company Hasbro, Emily V. Gordon writing and John M. Shue producing and possibly directing. A game show adaptation started streaming on Amazon Freevee initially as a one-off holiday special on December 10, 2021, and later as a full-length series on November 11th of last year. It is hosted by Sarah Hyland. Also, you can look at Milliput, Plastilina, Plasticine, Sculpey, and the Play-Doh sculpture by Jeff Koons. There's a lot of references. There's also an external links about Play-Doh beginning as a wall cleaner, the history. You can also look at Playmakers Part 2 and the accidental invention of Play-Doh by David Kindy at the Smithsonian.com from November 12th, 2019. Interesting history for a product that's been around as long as maybe your parents. And remember that wonderful volcano you made out of that Play-Doh, then pouring that vinegar and baking soda to make it explode and erupt. Brings back a lot of memories, and maybe you have some great memories too. A couple of things before we depart on this Friday edition. If you'd like to comment on any of the episodes that we have in our rotation from our first season and season 2, you can, but just remember to keep the comments clean. Don't direct them towards me, the host, but make them directable to the product or the toy or the game that we are talking about on that particular episode. If it's clean and it meets the criteria, it'll be put right there for everyone to see. If it's derogatory and has nothing to do with what we're talking about at that time, unfortunately, the comment and the person who made the comment will be removed and reported. Unfortunately, we are keeping this channel clean, and we expect our subscribers, which are very little, but we hope that the views will continue. And we hope that you get a lot of information out of this. The 22 subscribers, thank you for your continued support. And remember, always be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. Next time on Monday on the program, we're going to be looking at a game. And hopefully we'll be able to delve into the next game here. And I think we'll be looking at Dartball. Yes. The game that basically is a game in which darts are thrown at a large wooden or homosode board that resembles a baseball field with colored areas which denote bases. Dartball uses baseball-like rules and scoring. We'll look at that, and it's not to be confused with American darts. Totally different. Dartball, next Monday on episode 46 of Jay's Retro Toys and Games. I'm Jason DeCanio. Once again, thank you very much. We hope that you enjoyed this session of our great series. We look forward to next time. From all of us here, have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to subscribe to the David3000 Network for great more content like this one.